everybody. Welcome to the Harley Carnes podcast. You know, it was quiet in here, and then you showed up. So life's good again. I appreciate you keeping me company, and I sure hope next time you'll bring as many as you can. Let some folks know. You know, this is Harley on the Headlines, common sense look at some of the stories, and hopefully they're worth talking about. Time, your time is precious. I have to say that from time to time because, well, it is, you know, and the older you get, the more precious the time is. So I appreciate you spending some of it with me. When you get a moment, you could do me a favor and tap the like button. That'll help spread the word. It'll help reach other people. And you could also follow or subscribe, and then we'll let you know when we're going to do it again, which is likely to be pretty soon. Primary elections across the land. Florida's governor's race is closely watched because Ron DeSantis has been such a huge success as the governor, well-liked, respected on both sides of the aisle. You didn't hear Democrats running for office, other lower offices, saying bad things about DeSantis. Byron Donalds won the Republican primary for the race for governor. The Democrats picked David Jolly, who used to be a Republican when he served in Congress, 13th District of Florida from 2014 to 17. Then he switched parties to run for governor. He's seen as a centrist, calls himself that anyway. Socialists are trying to get a toehold in the free state of Florida. Angie Nixon is a socialist and will be on the Democrats' ticket in the Senate race. She beat Alex Vindman, who testified against President Trump in the failed impeachment trial against him. His campaign for the Senate nomination against Trump called himself a hero for pushing the trumped-up charges against the president. People remembered, though. The socialist, Angie Nixon, will face Republican Ashley Moody in the election. Nixon is a state House representative out of Jacksonville. Ashley Moody is Florida's U.S. Senator, appointed to the job to fill out Marco Rubio's term when he became Secretary of State. She's on the Senate Judiciary Committee and on the Homeland Security Committee, so she's got some pretty important jobs up there in Washington already. There are no major chinks in her armor, and she's supported by President Trump and Governor DeSantis. Still, progressives on the far left and the Democrat Party will throw an awful lot of money at that race. That's for sure. Scandal headlines are what upended the career of Florida Congressman Corey Mills. He's been facing a House ethics investigation and a federal probe over allegations of domestic abuse and such. Republicans chose a different Republican in the primary to run for the seat in November. Ryan Elijah, a former TV news anchor in Orlando, was also once a pro-football reporter. This is one time Trump's endorsement didn't help, so Democrats will be coming for that seat in the House. Bale Dalton, centrist Democrat, will be their candidate. If he wins, and he'll have a real shot at it, it could give Democrats the majority in the U.S. House. So it's a big deal. There's a bit of a scandal in the media. A polling firm, Media Strategies, recently had polls suggesting that Karen Bass was way ahead of her DSA challenger by 12 points in the L.A. mayor's race. Turned out to be 5 points. They claimed socialist Francesca Hong was 20 points ahead of David Crowley in Wisconsin. Crowley won that race. It was close, but he won. And they pushed Abdel El-Sayed in Michigan. Well, it turns out Media Strategies is no kind of polling firm. They were a scam, entirely faked. Their results were entirely not real and not based on voter opinions. And they've admitted it now, folded up and gone out of business. Now they claim it was all a social experiment just to see if people would fall for their fake news, and many did. Some media outlets reported their so-called polls as legitimate because they didn't do any homework. U.S. and Canadian negotiators have worked out a deal to temporarily avoid huge tariffs on $20 billion worth of imports from Canada. That's good news. It's important that the U.S. and Canada get along because in general we do. And we depend on each other for national security because any attack on the U.S. from Russia or China is likely to come over the northern regions because it's a shorter distance. And that means Canada is always in the crosshairs of American enemies. People don't tend to think about that, but it's real. The agreement came less than 2 hours before the sanctions deadline, and there isn't really much to this agreement. It simply buys more time for more negotiations. It's far from a done deal on tariffs. It just buys 3 days' time for more talks. Limbo stretched. That's all it is. A federal judge has said, sure, go ahead and test to see if painting the Eisenhower Executive Office building next to the White House will hurt the granite that it's built of. It's part of the president's plan to beautify Washington, but there is some concern about paint on granite stone. Will the paint trap moisture and do harm, as some preservationists contend? It might. Are there paints that won't do harm and would get rid of the drab tinge that has lost that building an awful lot of its original charm and dramatic beauty? Well, that's what the testing is for, right? Now, if you want to know if Dr. Anthony Fauci had good reason for claiming the fifth, even though there was no legal reason for him to do so, well, here's one good indicator. One of his senior advisors, doing as he was told by Fauci, is going to jail. Dr. David Morens has pleaded guilty to plotting to conceal federal research records on the origins of COVID-19's manipulated virus. He could get 5 years behind bars. Would a deeper investigation into that implicate Fauci? Well, almost certainly. But it would not heat his seat, if you will, because Joe Biden gave Fauci a sweeping pardon for any and all federal crimes he committed. That was the point of the pardon, keep in mind, to protect him from criminal prosecutions. You don't give an innocent person a presidential pardon because they don't need one, you know. More court motions related to 8647, James Comey's seashell scandal. Comey claimed to find seashells on a North Carolina beach that said 8647, taken to mean kill President Trump, the 47th president. 86 to deep six, something or someone. Well, Justice Department prosecutors say there's no serious dispute about the meaning of the shells. That's not really true, but that's what they say. And just about no one really believes that Comey just sort of happened to encounter them on his lonely walk among the dunes. Yeah, nobody believes that. Justice lawyers say it could surely be seen as a threat, especially with the backdrop of the multiple attempted or plotted assassination efforts aimed at the president. Well, that's certainly true. Comey's lawyers, though, point to dictionaries that say 86 means to get rid of or eject or throw out someone or something. Not necessarily violence, of course. And they'd be right about that, too. It'll be salacious fun to watch the trial, if, in fact, it happens. Amazon is expanding its drone delivery service. Lightweight packages could arrive with the buzzing whine of a drone set at your front door to 500 cities. That is the plan. They haven't figured out how to have the drone ring your doorbell yet, but they might. Frank Beard has died. Do you know who Frank Beard was? Frank Beard, by the way, on the drums. That's video from ZZ Top's website. Jeff Beck on the stage with him, by the way.
Well, some people say a man is made out of mud. A man's made out of muscle and blood, and skin and bones. A mind that's weak and a back that's strong. I go to 16 tons. What do you get? Another day older and deeper in bed. St. Peter, don't you call me 'cause I can't go. I owe my soul to the
16 tons, of course. Tennessee Ernie Ford did that a lot of years ago. It is Frank Beard on the drums, where he sat for 56 years and kept that signature backbeat for the band. A little old band from Texas indeed. Interesting, though, that Beard was the one of the trio without the big beard. He died in hospice care in Texas. He was 77. May he rest in peace, and may we enjoy his music for a long time.
That's weak and the back that's strong. I load 16 tons. What do you get? Another day older and a deeper in debt. St. Peter, don't you call me 'cause I can't go. I owe my soul to the company store.
Well, I couldn't help myself. Sort of had to keep it going, you know what I mean? Kind of a sad note, but the band leaves a legacy of joy and good times. And they're not going away, by the way. I mean, as I understand it, ZZ Top's going to begin a new tour pretty soon. And Dwight Yoakam, I think, is going to be out there on that tour as well. Maybe they'll be a warm-up band for Dwight. I don't know. But anyway, ought to be good. Ought to be really good stuff. So I guess that'll do it for today. I want to thank you for joining, for being part of it. I really hope there's something worthwhile for you in these visits. Tell someone about it. Help me grow this puppy. Can't do it without you. In point of fact, like, follow, subscribe. You know exactly what to do. Just hope you will. I'm Harley Carnes. Until next time, please do yourself a favor. Make some good, conscious choices in your life today. Make a decision to be happy and fly safe. It is the only way to get there.